Good evening, YouTube. Just want to do an update. It's been a little while. Had a lot going on in the last few weeks, and delays and waiting on parts and stuff. Still waiting on some stuff, but we're almost ready to do the build. I'd say hopefully in the next week, we can start putting these together. The voice coils were my supplier was behind on these. They finally got some in. These just arrived, and they're the ARC audio, the ones that go with these motors. So I went with dual 2 ohm, so I could wire them to be 4 ohms ultimately. And I'm gonna have to cut the former down a little bit. But they look like nice voice coils, and got this one marked. Gotta do the other one still. Patrick over at Robot Underground's been helping me out with some parts, and if you guys haven't checked out his site, his channel, check it out, man, because he's got tons and tons of subwoofer parts, and they're dirt cheap. A lot of them, not all of them, but he's got really good prices if you're just wanting to get into building some subs. And he advertises his number, his personal cell number, so you can text him, and he's responsive. And you know, I have worn him out asking him questions and this and that, and I've gotten. But anyway, so I needed these spiders right here, and he helped me out getting these. And I reached out to I don't know, I was asking a lot of different people, a lot of different questions, and I didn't get too many answers. But Patrick helped me out with these right here, and they're a medium stiffness progressive spider. That's exactly what I was looking for. They're not quite 3-inch for the voice coil, probably 2.6 or something, but 2.5 or whatever. But I'm gonna cut them out to 3, and just ends up being right at the top of the last landing and the highest point. So just got to cut them out real careful. I don't have to move the leads, and I haven't decided I'm gonna have to pull this stitch yet, but probably gonna have to pull the stitch on all these. You don't want them real tight at the joint where the voice coil is. You don't want the lead to be real tight right there, from what I understand anyway. I'm still learning all this stuff. But yeah, we got that. We got the adhesives, and one cone came in. This is a vega stroker cone. The reason I chose this originally, you know, these had they were coax 15s, which I thought was really cool, and that's why I bought them. But didn't know they were bad. They were advertised as not being bad, but anyway, so I'm not running half the watts to these that a cerwin vega stroker would probably ever see. So I just decided to make it a standard style sub. So, and these are the same voice coil size as the ARC audio motors and voice coils. They're 3-inch, and they fit the basket. These are going to be sitting down probably another 1/4 inch when they're done, a little over 1/4. I've got to trim a little more off of this flange. I already trimmed it once, and it's really close, but I just got to trim a tiny bit more, and it'll drop down into there. And it's also going to be, I've already measured it and stuff, and it's going to be the exact right height to the top of the spider once that's in place. So it's just they're going to physically fit in there is why. That and the curve, the radius. Curved cones are arguably supposed to sound better than linear cones that are straight. That was another thing that kind of pushed me in the direction of these. The surround and the suspension on these is very close. It's a little more travel actually than the ARC audio subs that originally these motors were for. These have a little bit more travel, X Max, and I'm thinking these spiders are going to probably be close. I'm never going to get close to the X Max, more than likely. I just don't typically do that. I will turn it up some, you know, and stuff like that, but I don't even, I'm just not going to beat on them that hard. Still looking for the right dust caps. Got a few ideas in mind. What I want to do there, so that's going to be cool. But got to trim these two, roughly the same, probably 25% off the flange. Not ideal, but with these adhesives and stuff, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I've messed with a few speakers in the past, and they don't typically budge even, you know, if they're half this size. There's usually not an issue there. The reason I ended up with all these parts is they're what fits with the other stuff that's here. I wanted to use these baskets. I like doing stuff that's different. I got the motors mounted. Cleaned up everything, centered it real good, and put this silicone adhesive between the frame and the motor plate. Made a little circle around each one of these, and just put a bead there. So whenever I tightened everything down, it's in the threads now, this sealant adhesive stuff. So it's kind of like Loctite, but it's silicone, so you can break it loose later if need be. I'm sure it's probably not going to be super fun to do, but it's also not going to vibrate loose, and it's also really, really stuck on there now. So shouldn't be any issues with anything coming loose later on down the road. Still looking for terminals that will go here. The original had a little PCB style tab with the little male blade little plugs, the old school style speaker terminals. The cool thing about these are, since they have the tweeters, there's one on each side, so that'll work for the dual voice coil. But I'm thinking I could put an aluminum plate here and then use the push terminals that are isolated, that have the little plastic bushing that insulates it from the metal. So thinking about an aluminum plate with some push terminals. Still trying to work that out. I may put the original stuff back on here to get them going, because it doesn't take long to unsolder that and put a new piece there. So just to get them going, we may use the original little tabs, and knowing me, they will probably stay on there, but we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. There's not much to them. So I really would like to get this right. One thing I'm having a little issue with is once this is down in there, there's not going to be much room for a gasket. I really don't need a gasket, I don't think. But I'm trying to find a gasket that's thin enough to fit down in there. A solid one, because there's the mounting holes. It's also got mounting holes in here, which I thought was cool. They're kind of cool baskets. It's like they had a few different things in mind for them, but they got mounting holes here too. I don't plan on using any of that. And they also have these, which I don't know if they were thinking of a wider spider landing. The only thing is that my cone wouldn't have worked with that. It would have been able to put an 8-inch spider on there. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. That's the update. Waiting on a few more parts. Should be ready to start gluing stuff together in a week or so. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us. It's just a little channel, and I don't want to make this a 1,000,000-part build series. It's just some subwoofers. I am going to build some cabinets and stuff for these. And Patrick's sending me some. He's got some 10-inch cast baskets that I want to use the original motors from here. I got to find voice coils because they're 2.7, so they're kind of an odd size voice coil. I haven't been able to really find any, but I'm hoping to use the motors off of these and some cast baskets from Patrick at Robot Underground that he's got, and he's literally giving them to me for $5 a piece for the mid range. So I make some mid bass speakers. So I figure out if I'm building these, I might as well do the mid bass, because we're going to do 3 ways with some. I'm not going to do the tweeters, Well, I am going to rebuild the tweeters that were in these, the little cast tweeters. I want to put new diaphragms in them and get them going. And then I want to use some Klipsch horns along with them. So there's going to be 2 tweeters, 2 10-inch mid bass, and then these. So it ought to be interesting all together. And got to come up with some good crossovers and stuff like that. But going to be doing some other stuff, some bigger projects that are not maybe audio related, but just different stuff. But this is where we're at right now, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. And we'll see you again soon, and get these things put together. Good night.